What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Here with a showcase video, finally, for GERMAAA 6. I've already recorded a GARP challenge video where I used GERMAAA 6 as a friend captain and as a sub on the same team to take down all 10-star difficulty GARP challenges. It was a bunch of fun, actually. But in today's video, we're going to be bringing them into regular content. Now, this is actually a little bit different from other showcase videos because this character actually performs even better as a crewmate on your team compared to as a captain. And you know, the typical way when you'd release a character, you'd want to be using them as a captain and use them for the content, but this character is built different, as we're going to be talking about right now. So let's go ahead and jump into the character list and break down what this character actually does. So GERMAAA 6 is a Psi super type character, and for their classes, they are Driven and Powerhouse. This character, with their captain effect, will boost Psi characters' attack by 4 times, and then boost all other types by 3.75, which is still very good, and then boost Psi characters' attack by 5 times if they have a Psi slot or a tandem slot, as well as making those tandem slots beneficial to your crew. Already, that's a pretty good captain effect across the board. However, there is the added effect that says that if this character becomes the captain during the middle of a quest, he becomes super effective against all types. Not all your crew is going to be super effective against all types, just this character's attacks will be super effective against all types, very similar to Douglas Bullet. Obviously, you can draw different comparisons and contrasts between the two characters, of course. But, of course, when you actually switch into the captain spot, he's going to have access to the super type, which says that as long as you have either a Sanji, a Luffy, Nami, Chopper, Brook, Jinbei, or Carrot on your crew, he's going to boost your chain multiplier by 1.25. It's the same type of multiplication boost as Sanji Judge switch effect, which is really strong. And then it'll also lock your crew slots for 1 turn, and then the side characters will become Super Psi type, of course. Now remember, when he does become super effective against all types, it means that the color affinity that you inherently get from becoming a super type character will benefit this character in every situation, which is great. Now his special ability, which is at a 13 turn max cooldown, he does go down an additional turn with his expansion, by the way. Multi-stage special, but predominantly we're going to be taking on stage 2, which is a 13 turn cooldown here. Changes all slots to tandem, does not get rid of block slots, unfortunately, but then it boosts side character slot effects by 2.25 for 2 turns, and then swaps this character out for your captain for 2 turns as well. So if this character is already your captain, he won't become super effective against all types at that point. So it's actually better to run him as a crewmate so that when you do use the special and switch into the captain spot, you then become super effective against all types. Now as a crewmate, he also will make all type slots matching for himself, and all characters' tandem slots will be counted as beneficial as well. He does have Enrage, which is plus 200 additional attack and removing 3 turns of increased damage taken. His critical hit is 70% chance for 7% additional bonus, and he has Slotline removal by 10 turns. Unfortunately, doesn't completely remove it, which would have been even better. He does have a support effect, which only supports Sanji, but it says once per quest when the enemy changes your slots, he changes the crew slots into tandem, and then makes Psi recovery tandem beneficial for all characters for 1 turn. This is a really good effect, but it is requiring the enemy to change your slots for you, and also it will only attach to a Sanji, so it is a little bit situational, but in certain situations this could actually be super devastating and allowing your team to just get a full board of slots whenever the enemy changes them for you. Doesn't get rid of block slots, but if they give you badly matching slots or they shuffle your orbs around, this is honestly a really good support that could see a lot of play. But now that we've gone ahead and broken down the brand new GERMAAA 6 character, let's go ahead and jump into the actual showcase of the brand new SUGO rare character. So jumping into this showcase video, I have a fair few different clips. I've got 2 Colosseums, 2 raids, and then, I mean, technically, it's also a raid as well, but there's going to be an additional raid at the end, which is the CP9, as well as versing the ambush of CP9 as well with a GERMAAA 6 team. Now, this is a little bit of an obscure showcase because most of the time when I do a showcase video for a brand new SUGO-FEST exclusive character, typically it'll be, you know, using both of them as a captain, or at least using one of them as a captain, so that I could show you guys when you use them as a captain how they are able to be used to clear content. However, as we've already established with the breakdown at the beginning of this video, this is a very obscure unit. This is a unit that we haven't seen anything like this before for a SUGO-FEST exclusive. Even when this character came out on Japan, a lot of people were wondering and a little bit concerned, you know, is this character even going to be good enough? But as we've seen, GERMAAA 6, I mean, especially with some of the SUGO-FEST exclusives we have in the game right now, they're exceptionally powerful units, and that's definitely one of the things I want to highlight with GERMAA 66, is that they're an additional unit that are really good for your account if you already have pre-existing amazing Psy characters. So if you were lucky enough to pull Luffy and Sanji, they work exceptionally well with GERMAA 66, of course, because GERMAA are an orb booster. You've got Luffy, Sanji, who are an attack booster, but even further than that, like basically a better version of Luffy and Sanji in my eyes is Goldie Roger. If you're lucky enough to have Goldie Roger and GERMAA 66, like the stuff that you're able to do is actually kind of nuts, right? Because you can have up to a 3 times attack boost with Roger, you can have a 2.25 orb boost with GERMAA 66, you can carry it over multiple different stages, and then you'll have like 2 5 times captains, and one of your characters are super effective against all types. You got someone like the red-haired pirates or Shanks crew who have a 3.5 chain lock for multiple turns as well, another amazing Psy unit. So there's so many amazing units you can use alongside GERMAA 66, which is definitely what I wanted to highlight in this showcase video, is that, like, yeah, GERMAA 66 by themselves, even if you don't have some of these like really other powerful SUGO-FEST exclusives, yeah, I mean, they're still pretty good, but if you have these other SUGO-FEST exclusives, it makes GERMAA like even better than what they already are. But you know, there are not all positives for GERMAA 66. There are definitely some negatives that I have found just by using them, right? And the major problem that I found with GERMAA 66 is the lack of support units that can attach to them. I mean, they're a Psy unit, they're also a Driven and a Powerhouse unit, and you know, they include 5 different characters, right? They include Niji, Ichiji, Yonji, Reiju, and also Judge himself. So there aren't too many good supports, even just pre-existing just for those singular characters. There aren't that many good units for the GERMAA units in general, and if you're going to stack them all into one unit, you can't even use the other GERMAA units as supports for this GERMAA 66 unit, of course. So that's obviously a huge problem. So that is definitely a big issue that I would like to see remedied in a future update, where you could have just some more support units for not only just side characters in general, but I think that just for, you know, these GERMAA 66 units, whether it be potentially a new Sanji support, maybe a Jinbei support. I'm not really too sure what they could really do, but definitely some new support unit for GERMAA 66 would be greatly appreciated, that is for sure. So you guys just saw the team there utilizing Goldie, Roger, and Luffy Sanji captains with the GERMAA 66 crew take on the brand new Colosseum Okiku, which is definitely a more difficult piece of content, but showing you guys how the team is able to get it done. This time around, we're going to be up against Colosseum Oven, and once again using Goldie Roger as one of the captains because he's just that good, and using Shanks crew as a friend captain because Special Bind actually does get inflicted on the final stage as well. But this is really, really cool, using GERMAA 66 just to switch into the captain position to get all of their amazing benefits, right? Colosseum Oven these days isn't a tricky Colosseum. There are a couple of different gimmicks you have to take into consideration, but considering the power level of some of the Sugo rares we have now, yeah, Colosseum Oven isn't really too tricky, right? But yeah, that's definitely the biggest issue, as I mentioned. You know, the support effects, you know, being basically non-existent for the GERMAA units is a huge problem. And I have found, you know, when I wanted to build a team with, like, hypothetically a friend captain GERMAA and then GERMAA sub, sometimes, you know, trying to fit in different units on your team in terms of, like, just having enough utility can be a bit of a problem because of the lack of supports. You know, if you're running like Luffy, Sanji, for example, they themselves get rid of block orbs and they have amazing supports to get around utility. With GERMAA, they don't even get rid of block orbs with their special, so that's actually a pretty big problem, because it means that if you do encounter block orbs, you need another unit on your team to be dedicated to get rid of those block orbs. So that's definitely a big issue, and obviously Goldie Roger doesn't have this issue either because of his super type special, so that's something, right? So, you know, just a lot of real nitpicky things that I really don't like about GERMAA, and honestly speaking, I don't think this is a unit that you definitely need on your account. This isn't like a must summon unit. If you don't have this unit, you're going to struggle with content. It's nothing like that, really. They're just kind of like a win more type of unit, and I mean, you can definitely just build teams around it because we already know how good side teams are. We've already just discussed that even in this video, right? With some of the 5 times captain multipliers that you're able to use. I mean, even V3 Boa Hancock, which we haven't even talked about, using him in this example here against the Clash Mr. Zero, being able to utilize even that unit with their super type special to get a full board of slots and a 2.5 times attack boost. Pretty awesome to have something like that, plus GERMAA 66 for the orb boost, so that's just another example. But I think that it's so good to have, you know, up to 5 times captain multipliers, and then also having a unit that is super effective against all types. You have your orb boost, you have your attack boost. I mean, once we get V2 NL, which is currently out in Japan, he debuts on a Pirate Rumble banner. Even when he debuts on Global, right, you'll have access to that. So The Psy typing, in my opinion, is the best typing in the game right now. Even on Japan standards, I do definitely think that the Psy typing is still the best. However, obviously with recent releases of like Ace versus Akainu, you can build some definite amazing class/color-based teams with those guys, which is pretty sick. Even Kaido Big Mom can build some pretty awesome strength and int-based teams with those guys too. But just showing you guys how amazing the GERMAA 66 is, even in this situation here. Obviously, you know, we have to have strength slots to get around the barrier, so we can just use Treasure Map Ace. Now, of course, Treasure Map Ace isn't going to be fully boosted on this team, but Treasure Map Ace will still give our strength, Psy, and quick characters an attack boost, as well as giving us those full strength slots, which of course is quite good. We have Sabo as well, because Sabo can make those type slots beneficial. It's just very, very easy to get through some of that content, which is nice. And of course, being super effective against all types with GERMAA 66, allowing us to get, you know, guaranteed awesome damage no matter what with these massive attack multipliers. And you can see 10.7 million damage just when they hit it just by themselves, which is pretty awesome, right? So it's just really cool because any color affinity that you bring on your team for your side characters is going to be hugely beneficial, especially when you're running GERMAA as a crewmate to give you damage against any typing in the game. And now this was a bit of an interesting one against Clash Carrot. This one took me quite a few attempts to get correct to make sure I was able to clear it. Definitely stage 4 was a little bit of an annoyance, trying to bring the right characters to get around Brook and Jinbei both alike. But this is what I came up with, and it was actually just able to get the job done, which is pretty dope. We are relying on a couple of really key small little boosts. We are using the Raid Buggy, which came out with the Shanks Crew celebration during the French Annie last year. This unit's pretty interesting because he gets rid of damage immunity, which is what we're going to need against the next fight after this, because this team will go ahead and take on Ambush Garp, which is pretty dope. But their switch effect, which was something that was not noted to me until later on, was the fact that their switch effect gives your Driven and your Slasher characters a 1.2 times color affinity, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but you know, when you are only missing just a very small amount of damage to kill the boss, that small amount of damage is going to be quite beneficial to you, especially because, as we know, GERMAA 66 are a driven character, so using the switch effect of them to get a small color affinity boost on the final stage, especially when Carrot limits how many specials we're able to use, is super nice. So GERMAA get additional color affinity, so it means being super effective against all types. It's going to work quite well. And we're also running the Raid Shiki support as well, which gives us a 1.3 attack boost to our driven characters on this team, because it is kind of nice to make sure that we use the Boa super type on the previous stage so we can actually kill the boss. A little bit non-beneficial to use that there, but still, even with a very, very small support effect and a very small switch effect, plus with GERMAA's boosts, that is actually going to give us enough damage output to KO the Raid Carrot, even though our ship is going to be despaired, which obviously we lose out a lot of damage output there. So pretty awesome that, you know, even though it's a pretty gimmicky looking team, it was still actually able to get the job done, which is pretty impressive, right? So this team's going to be taking on Ambush Garp, which Ambush Garp is a relatively older event now, so it's not really too tricky so long as you have a unit that gets rid of damage immunity on the revive, and so long that it's not a quick unit, unless if you're running Shanks Crew as a captain, for example, you can get around that, which of course we have Raid Buggy to get rid of that damage immunity, which is really good. And then after the Ambush Garp clip is going to be this GERMAA 66 versus the CP9 raid, plus the ambush straight after it, which is definitely a more trickier event. Even to this day, I do think CP9 raid and ambush is really, really difficult. And if you're not prepared for it, you're just going to get your ass handed to you. So, you know, having to prepare your team very meticulously to ensure you get around debuffs, to ensure you have enough damage, to ensure you're able to get the certain slots that you need is very important against the CP9 event. And we do rely on a little bit of orb luck on the second stage, you know, to get around the character that has a quick orb barrier, because we are going to be using Shanks Crew, as you guys are going to see in just a little bit. But having to rely on a little bit of orb luck for that stage, but it isn't too bad. They don't really hit too hard. We do have, we will be using Luffy and Sanji as well, because that does give us a really nice way to generate recovery slots every single turn. Pretty nice to have that, actually. But also the other support units you'll be seeing on the team as well. We use some very, very specific supports to ensure that we can get around all the debuffs that we need. And surprisingly, I'm actually going to be using a character I have not used in a really, really long time, which, for those of you guys who played during the World Clash, which was quite a while ago now, we got given a free character, which was a Portgas D Ace. And that Portgas D Ace has a very interesting special, where he, like, gives your entire team a full board of slots. He gives everyone a 1.75 attack and orb boost, and also a chain boost of some kind. But he gives you all those massive effects, but then he binds himself for 50... So even though you're going to be binding yourself for such a significant amount of time, it actually doesn't really matter because we're only using them for the very, very final damage hit. And that's going to give us just enough damage output that we'll actually need to get through the final boss fight, which is pretty dope. But of course, we are using some very key supports with Rayleigh on Luffy Sanji. We do have Barto attached to Robin to get rid of some paralysis a little bit later on as well. And then we also have Whitebeard support, quick Whitebeard support on the Ace, because we want to make sure that when the supports proc, we don't proc the wrong support, because in the ambush fight, on one of the stages, our right side is going to be binded only, so that's why we have to run, certain units there, and then we want to make sure that we can actually get rid of the despair that gets inflicted on the ambush fight as well, which is why we have specifically the Whitebeard attached to Ace, and everything's meticulously planned out. It gets the job done, which is dope, and I definitely wanted to use Shanks' crew because of the resilience on this stage specifically was quite annoying to get around, and we are able to use Roger's amazing AoE 1 million fixed damage to get around all the enemies on stage 3, which again would have been a little bit of a problem. But of course, having such amazing characters on this team, we've got Shanks' crew for, again, chain lock and his AoE damage and his amazing captain effect. We've got Roger for AoE and attack boost. We've got Luffy Sanji for healing and attack boost. We've got Germa for full board of slots and orb boost, and we've got Robin for utility. We've got Ace for another boost as well. So lots and lots of boosts plus utility, all effects going on right now. It's pretty dope. So that is going to end this video today. I'm going to leave you guys with the rest of this clip versus the CP9 ambush. I hope you guys stick around to watch it because it's pretty awesome the way it gets the job done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What's your opinion on the GERMAA 66 SUGO-FEST exclusive character? I think they're a bunch of fun to use. Don't really know how much I'm going to use them, but they definitely are a bunch of fun to use no matter what. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
相手をしてやる。